Sipekne'katik, formerly known as Sipekne'katik. It's in Nova Scotia. It's a small community, a very close-knit community. We all know each other. Everybody knows who you are, where you're from, who your parents are. Everybody helps one another in times of need. We have our hardships, but at the same time, those hardships bring our community closer. That's one of the good things about living in Sipekne'katik. It's a friendly place. But like a lot of First Nations communities, there's a lot of health issues that haven't been brought to light.
Sipekne'katik First Nation is unique, and it stands out from the rest of the communities in Nova Scotia and the Atlantic because it's the home of where residential school took place in the Atlantic. The building is no longer there. It's a beautiful farmland with cornfields, and it's located right on the river. But, you know, people have to pass through there every day when they go in and out of the community. So although the building isn't there, the memories are still there.
There are different needs amongst First Nations people for their health because of things such as overcrowding in some communities, the isolation from access to health services. Often places are far from hospitals or specialists. For many years, in this area in particular, there were researchers from outside, maybe from universities or groups, who wanted to get information that was never given back to us, that was not put in useful form for us. So I think they don't trust that the information will be useful. So they don't want to spend their time doing surveys that they'll never get any benefit from.
I do surveys. I'm doing the regional health survey. It takes random names from ages 0 up to, I've actually surveyed a woman that was 80-some years old. The survey itself is done on a laptop. I don't do any of the questions, so they can do it on their own and they feel a lot more comfortable. I won't see anything, nobody else will see anything, so the information that's asked is really sensitive. Like, you wouldn't go up to somebody and ask them something personal that they may be suffering from or something that they suffered as a child. So everything is completely confidential. It has to be, because if you want truthful, honest answers that will actually help the communities, you have to let them know that this is confidential. Nobody's going to see this. You want to get in touch with them?
This work that we do is guided by OCAP principles. It's guided by a stewardship protocol that was designed by and for First Nations. And, you know, we have the mandate to do that nationally from the chiefs.
Okay, so you can set to participate in this.
The RHS and the REIS are two nationally administered First Nations on Reserve surveys. The RHS looks at the status of First Nations health. The REIS looks at issues of early childhood development, education, and employment. Some of the issues that First Nations people struggle with in Canada, we hear in the dominant literature, are things such as, diabetes, obesity, depression, suicide. And with the RHS, we're able to say this is the percentage of people within our communities that are suffering from these conditions. Each one of the records represents essentially an individual person's life. But as a whole, we're able to tell a story about First Nations people living on reserve within our region, within Canada. And what we're doing when we actually use the data is we're providing a voice for these people to say, this is who we are, this is what's going on.
That's it for the surveys.
We need this information. If we want to substantiate any claims whatsoever, or even highlight what's great about our communities, we're going to need to back that up with data.
Thank you. All right, take care.
It's just overwhelming seeing the child development with their ages and stages. We have children that came through our doors that are graduated now, and that's when you see a smile, not only on myself, but on the parents and their families.
Data that is collected is used by the communities themselves to see what kind of services are needed in the community. Early childhood education is shown to be one of the factors that leads to positive outcomes in the future for people. So I think Aboriginal Head Start is one area that having accurate health data would help us.
It's the Aboriginal Diabetes Initiative. It's the Home and Community Care Program. It's the On Reserve Head Start Program. It's the National Aboriginal Youth Suicide Prevention Program. There's so much. It's just more than data. It actually affects people's lives, and it makes a difference in a positive way. They might not have participated in the survey. They might not know that that is a result of the hard work that came from people that had passion and drive to see change.
Good singing, good dancing, everybody.
This kind of work has to continue, and there's a lot more work needs to be done so that we have 100% participation. There's no reason that we can't gather our own information and use it for the betterment of the health of our own people in our own communities.
As a member of a First Nations community and as a researcher, it's really rewarding to see how they're actually using this data to make a difference. It's more than just, a report that sits in a bookshelf. It actually means something.
To the people, what matters is the result of the work that we do. If it's going to empower them or if it's going to help provide them with better services and programs or access, that's what matters. And I think at the end of the day, that's exactly what we're doing.
By people speaking up now and letting them know what's going on, it's like advocating for kids in the future so they don't have to suffer through what they suffered growing up,